The 1986 explosion of the Challenger marked a tragic moment not only for the friends and loved ones of the 7 astronauts aboard the doomed shuttle, but for the nation as a whole. Let's explore how and where the Challenger's crew members were put to rest. The 1980s was something of a wide-eyed, optimistic period for NASA and spaceflight. Humans had landed on the moon in 1969, only 11 years prior at that point, and visions of the future were bold and bright. 1973 saw the European Space Research Organization and NASA agree to develop an orbital space laboratory. 1981 saw the first orbital spaceflight of a reusable space shuttle, and the public fully expected to go to Mars and beyond. Then the Challenger disaster happened on January 28, 1986.
Today is a day for mourning and remembering. Nancy and I are pained to the core by the tragedy of the shuttle Challenger.
While some children tuned in live from school to watch in terror as the Challenger shuttle exploded 73 seconds after launch, most people watched the taped recording after the fact. The shuttle had set out on a somewhat unglamorous but important mission to set up a tracking and data relay satellite in orbit and launch a separate satellite to observe Halley's Comet as it swept through our system. Instead, all 7 crew members on board died after their shuttle ignited during launch due to faulty rocket design. Never again would NASA hurry a launch, and never again would excitement trump caution. Crew members Francis R. Dick Scobie, Michael J. Smith, Judith A. Resnick, Ronald E. McNair, Ellison S. Onizuka, Gregory B. Jarvis, and Krista McAuliffe all lost their lives on that day. On March 9th, NASA announced that divers had found their cabin in the Atlantic Ocean, and it took until April 20th to recover it. Those remains were eventually cremated and commingled at Arlington National Cemetery, where they rest to this day. The Challenger crew were all smiles before their mission and happy to the point of jovial as each member spoke a couple of words of thanks to everyone present at the launch. In addition to mission specialists, of special note was Krista McAuliffe, the first teacher in space, chosen out of 11,000 applicants.
Has it all hit you yet?
No, I don't think so. I still can't believe that I'm going to actually be going into that shuttle.
She and the rest of the crew probably lost consciousness due to a change in cabin pressure and died from lack of oxygen before their shuttle hit the water. That being said, it's possible that someone could have woken up during the 2-minute and 45 seconds that it took to descend to the ocean. Out of respect, officials didn't elaborate on the state of the crew members' bodies when they were recovered. Their cabin was reportedly largely intact. Some personal effects floated to the surface of the water, and other research materials were present inside the cabin. Beyond that, a report from NASA states, "Local security measures are being taken to assure that the recovery operations can take place in a safe and orderly manner. We really don't want to say anything else in deference to the families." However, it is known that the crew's remains were crushed and, quote, could not be recognized as human, as the New York Times wrote at the time. Body identification was conducted at Patrick Air Force Base Hospital, 25 miles from Cape Canaveral, by the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology. As mentioned, the cremated remains of the Challenger crew were interred at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. All 7 of the remains were mixed and placed together at a memorial in Section 46, Grave 1129, while 2 of the crew members, Francis R. Dick Scobie and Michael J. Smith, also have graves of their own in the cemetery. The memorial features a fitting poem called High Flight, written by Royal Canadian Air Force pilot John Gillespie McGee Jr. in 1941. In part, the poem reads, "Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of." Numerous tributes have been written to the Challenger crew over the decades since their death, and there are additional monuments besides a memorial in Arlington National Cemetery that holds the crew's remains, along with a small monument in Montpelier, Vermont. Meanwhile, the Space Mirror Memorial at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida is a grand but simply designed mirrored surface of polished black granite that reflects the sky. It's currently inscribed with the names of 24 deceased astronauts, including those of the Challenger crew.